Today's lesson is called Léa Seydoux, More Than Just a Bond Girl. Hello everyone, my name is Jeff.
And I'm Helen.
Sure, Léa Seydoux is now a household name because she's been in a Bond movie. She's a Bond girl. But that's really not a huge deal as far as being an actor is concerned. I mean, it's great for popularity. If you want to be known worldwide, be in a big movie. Be in one of those Marvel movies or be in a Bond movie or something like that. A lot of people are going to see your face. You're going to become a famous person worldwide. But are all actors in it for the fame? No, some actors are in it for the craft. And Léa Seydoux is one of these people. Sure, she's a Bond girl, but does it go deeper? Of course it does. Léa Seydoux most definitely is more than just a Bond girl.
That's right. And I think that for a lot of female actresses, being a Bond girl is probably a step in the ladder or on the ladder to other greater things because you can use that as an opportunity to gain wider recognition and to gain more acting experience. But in the end, Bond movies, the main actor, the main actions focus on Bond. So the Bond girls are mainly, they're there to prop up the story. But if an actress or a female actor wants to do more, then it's probably better to do other types of movies where the stories are a bit different from typical James Bond movies.
All right, folks, let's go ahead and get started with day 2 of our article on Léa Seydoux. We will start discussing the first paragraph of today's article right after this.
Seydoux's career took off when she began appearing in big Hollywood films like The Grand Budapest Hotel, Inglourious Basterds, and Midnight in Paris. But it was the French drama, Blue is the Warmest Color, that really established Seydoux as a world-class actor. Her emotional performance as a lesbian art student earned her a Palme d'Or, the Cannes Film Festival's highest award, in 2013. Steven Spielberg, who headed the jury, decided to give the award to not only the film's director, but also the 2 lead actors, something that had never been done before.
大家好，第一部分我们看到单字 jury 这个字是名词，指评审团、陪审团。例如 The winner of the speech contest will be decided by a jury of teachers and former champions. 演讲比赛的优胜者是由老师和前任冠军组成的评审团决定。或是 After reviewing the evidence, the jury found the defendant guilty of the crime. 检视过证据后，陪审团认为被告有罪。另外，补充一个相关片语 The jury is still out on something. 其中的 still 可以省略，表示某事悬而未决，仍未定夺。举例来说 The jury is still out on whether the actor will play the lead role in the film. 那位演员是否会担纲这部电影的主角仍未定案。
And welcome back. So, Léa Seydoux, at first, she was acting in French cinema. She turned heads with her performance in The Beautiful Person, won a César Award nomination, and eventually she turned heads in Hollywood in American cinema, and she began acting in a few American films. And it says here, Seydoux's career took off when she began appearing in big Hollywood films like The Grand Budapest Hotel, Inglourious Basterds, and Midnight in Paris. But it was the French drama Blue is the Warmest Color that really established Seydoux as a world-class actor. Now, Jeff, have you seen any of these movies, these 4 movies that
I
mentioned?
have seen all of these movies. The Grand Budapest Hotel is a Wes Anderson movie. I'm a big fan of Wes Anderson. Inglourious Basterds, that's Quentin Tarantino. I am a Quentin Tarantino fan. And Midnight in Paris, that's a Woody Allen movie. I used to be a big Woody Allen fan. Sadly, no longer. But yes, this much is for certain. People really started to take notice of Léa Seydoux after she starred in Blue is the Warmest Color. This movie, for a while, really kind of got everyone's attention, and it really established her as a world-class actor. Her emotional performance as a lesbian art student earned her a Palme d'Or, the Cannes Film Festival's highest award in 2013. And boy, did she ever earn it. Not only was she amazing on screen, but I heard that behind the scenes she had to put up with a director who wasn't the nicest fella in the world. But one way or another, she really pulled it off. And yes, this was an emotional performance. There was a whole lot of love going on in this movie between two ladies, two girls. Yes, this is a lesbian love story, okay? By the way, when we use this word lesbian, we're talking about two women, two ladies, two girls who fall in love. They become partners. And in this movie, this is what happens. They fall in love. And yes, there are emotions everywhere. Emotions abound in this particular movie.
Right, and so the word emotional here to describe Seydoux's performance relates to feelings. So her performance was full of feeling, was full of strong emotions. So to use this word in another context, I could say after the death of his wife, John received a lot of emotional support from his friends. So his friends gave him a lot of emotional support, not financial support, not practical support, but they were there for him if he needed someone to talk to or a shoulder to cry on. This is emotional support.
There you go. Moving on, Steven Spielberg, who headed the jury there at the Cannes Film Festival that year, decided to give the award to not only the film's director, but also the two lead actors, something that had never been done before. Anyway, Steven Spielberg finally made this decision, but that's not really the way that all of the decisions are made at the Cannes Film Festival. Usually they have a group of filmmakers or film critics or stuff like that, a group of people that they put together to make decisions on awards and stuff like that. That group of people is called a jury. Now, usually, when I think of the word jury, I think of the American legal system, okay? In the American legal system, there is a judge, and then there is a jury. That jury is a group of your peers, a group of people who can decide your fate.
So, for instance, I could say members of the jury couldn't reach an agreement on the winner of the competition. And that's one way of using the word jury.
Sounds good to me. All right, folks, with that, let's take a short break, but don't go away. We'll be right back after this.
Seydoux's performance as Bond girl Madeleine Swann also garnered her international attention. She first took on the role in 2015 in Spectre and will be back in the next film, No Time to Die. Dr. Madeleine Swann is not an average Bond girl, and Seydoux pulls off her combination of femininity and strength perfectly. "My character is not a stereotype," Seydoux said. "She's a real woman and an interesting woman. That's what we needed."
第二部分我们看到动词 garner 指获得、收集，像是 The hotel garnered several awards for superior service. 那家饭店的优质服务获颁了好几个奖，或是 The proposal garnered the support of key members of the board. 这个提案取得了董事会重要的成员支持。再来，我们看到片语 pull off 表示成功完成，例如 Two of our actors were missing, but we still pulled off the show. 我们有2个演员不在，但我们依然成功完成这场表演。另外，除了上面的意思，这个片语还有以下2种用法。第一，表示脱掉、扯下，像是 When Brian came inside, he pulled off his gloves and put them on the table. Brian 进来的时候，他脱掉他的手套，然后把它们放在桌上。 第二，表示行进中的车开到路边暂停。举例来说 We pulled our car off the road so the fire truck could pass us. 我们把车子开到路边，好让消防车超过我们。接着我们看到名词 combination 指结合、联合，像是 This music sounds like a combination of jazz and rock. 这音乐听起来像是爵士与摇滚乐的结合。再来我们看到单字 femininity 这个字是名词，指女性特质、女性。例如My friend said she was encouraged by her gender studies professor to celebrate her femininity. 我朋友说她受到性别研究课的教授鼓励，应该颂扬自己的女性特质。
And welcome back. So today we're talking about Léa Seydoux. And so she has been in quite a number of American films. And she won an award for her appearance in Blue is the Warmest Color, a French movie. And it's Seydoux's performance as a Bond girl, however, that really made her famous. It says here, Seydoux's performance as Bond girl, Madeleine Swann, also garnered her international attention. So here the word to garner means to obtain or to get a large amount of something important. And it's usually something that's quite positive. So you could say, for instance, the scientist garnered respect for his work in the field of molecular biology, for instance. And Seydoux here, her performance as a Bond girl, Madeleine Swann, garnered her international attention, which means after she starred in this role, people around the world took notice of her and knew who she was.
Now, she first took on the role in 2015 in Spectre and will be back in the next film, No Time to Die. Now, this is not usually done with the whole Bond girl thing. Apparently, most Bond girls are arm candy for James Bond, and then they kind of just disappear into the ether. You never see them again. You never hear of them again. But hey, Madeleine Swann, Dr. Madeleine Swann, I should say. Excuse me. She'll be back in the next film, which is called No Time to Die. Anyways, Dr. Madeleine Swann is not an average Bond girl, and Seydoux pulls off her combination of femininity and strength perfectly. Is she just arm candy for James Bond? Are you kidding? No way. First of all, she's a doctor, so she's like super smart. She's probably smarter than James Bond himself, but she's still quite feminine, okay? She has feminine characteristics, so she really pulls this off. She makes this work, this combination of femininity and strength.
Right. So here, the phrase pull off, here it means to succeed in doing something. So if Seydoux pulls off a role, it means that she is able to perform that role very well. I could also say, to give you an example of pull off, I could say, I didn't think I could make a delicious dinner for 10 people with just 500 NT, but I pulled it off, which means I was able to make a delicious dinner for 10 people with only 500 NT, and it was delicious and everybody loved it.
Anyways, let's hear from Seydoux herself. My character is not a stereotype, Seydoux said. She's a real woman and an interesting woman. That's what we needed. That's exactly what we needed. By the way, I said earlier, back in the day, Bond girls, they were just arm candy. That was the stereotype. If you were a beautiful woman with James Bond in a James Bond movie, you were just going to be a Bond girl. You were going to be a fling, a love interest, and you would disappear forever. That was the stereotype. Well, that's not the case anymore.
Right. So another use of stereotype, there are actually a lot of stereotypes that you can mention. In America, there's a stereotype that all Asians are good at math. And I broke that stereotype when I was a student in high school. So I'm very proud of that achievement. I was not good at math, so people stopped believing that all Asians were good at math.
Anyways, folks, with that, it's time for us to take a short break, but don't go away. We'll be right back after this.
Having performed in everything from indie films to Hollywood action flicks, Seydu can mold herself into any role. For her, it's a matter of seeing herself in every character. I never have to become the character. I am the character, she said.
第三部分，我们看到名词 flick， 意思是电影，为 movie 的口语用法。我们可以说 We can see a flick this Friday night at my place. 本周五晚上可以来我家看场电影。最后，我们看到单字 mold， 这个字是动词，意思是塑造，常用 mold A into B， 指将 A 塑造为 B， 使成型。例如 4 years at university molded Jake into the man he is today. 大学4年把 Jake 塑造成他现在的样子。另外，这个字也可以当名词，指模具、模型，像是片语 break the mold 就表示打破窠臼、改变模式。举例来说 Karen broke the mold of the typical business owner by putting a large percentage of her profits back into the community. Karen 打破典型企业主的模式，将一大部分利润回馈给社区。
And welcome back to the last part of today's discussion on Lea Seydoux. So we've seen that she has acted in a broad range of movies. She's been in American action films. She's been in French, more artsy type cinema. And she's had a pretty long career for her years. And so it says here, having performed in everything from indie films to Hollywood action flicks, Seydoux can mold herself into any role. So indie films here refer to independent films, films that are not financed by big Hollywood producers. Usually they're low budget, but they also have an artistic quality. So she's been in a few indie films, and she's also been in Hollywood action flicks. And here the word flick is basically another word for film. And Seydoux can mold herself into any role. To mold yourself means to adapt yourself or to fit into any role that's given to you, which Seydoux is able to do. She can play emotional roles. She can play feminine and very intellectual doctors. So she can play almost any role.
There you go. If you want her to play a role, she'll be able to do it. She can change herself however she needs to, okay? She can adapt herself to pretty much any role that's out there. So really, she kind of has found a way to have the best of both worlds, okay? She has a great reputation as an actress, but she's also a Hollywood star. Like Tom Cruise isn't really respected for his acting ability, even though he's a huge star. Here we have Lea Seydoux, though. She's respected as an actress. She's got a great reputation as an actress, and she's also a star to boot. How about that? How cool. Anyways, let's go ahead and finish off today's article. The next line says for her, it's a matter of seeing herself in every character. I never have to become the character. I am the character, she said. It sounds like she's a method actor. All right, folks, with that, our lesson on Lea Seydoux is now in the books, and it's time for you guys to hear from the Chinese teacher.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。当 Lea Seydoux 开始在一些好莱坞大片演出时，她的演艺事业开始起飞。那么课文第一部分，它是用到片语动词 take off 来表达起飞。那我们来学这个片语的用法。 Take off 当不及物用，常用来表达以下2种意思。第一种呢是表达说起飞，像是飞机起飞之类的。例如 The plane will take off in 15 minutes. 飞机即将在15分钟后起飞。好，那在中文里面，我们是不是也会用起飞来表达某事物很成功啊，像是经济起飞啊、事业起飞等等。所以 take off 的第2种意思是表达说像是大受欢迎，突然开始走红，突然开始成功之类的。当这个意思来解释时，我们通常都用事物来当主词。例如 Their business is starting to take off. 他们的事业开始起飞了。好，那再补充一下，其实 take off 它还有这种匆匆离去、突然离开的意思。像你如果看到这个句子 He took off without saying goodbye， 就是说他连再见都没有说就突然离开了，不是突然起飞哦。好，我们再来看课文第2部分呢，提到说 Lea Seydoux 在2015年她首次出演庞德女郎的角色。那么文中是用到片语动词 take on， 可以用来表达说接下，像接下某个角色啊、工作、责任、挑战等等，或是用来表达开始从事什么、承担什么、接受什么的意思。好， take on 是及物用法，后面我们会接事物来当受词。例如Do you think he's ready to take on such a huge responsibility? 你觉得他已经准备好要承担这么大的责任了吗？好，那我们也顺便来学习 take on 的其他不同意思。像第一种，你可以用 take on 去表达呈现、显现出，那么后面就会接事物来当受词去表达说呈现出新的面貌啊，或者是显示出某种特质啊，带有某种特质外观等等。举例来说 The castle takes on a different atmosphere at night. 那座城堡在夜晚时会呈现出不同的氛围。第2种我们可以用 take on 来表达雇用的意思，那么后面是接人当受词。例如 They agreed to take him on as an assistant. 他们同意雇用他来当助理。第3种我们可以用 take on 去表达接受什么的挑战，跟什么什么来比赛较量。这时候受词通常是人，而且呢是实力会比自己强的人。好，举例来说 Jake isn't afraid to take on the big guy. Jake 不怕跟那个块头大的人来较量。好，那么以上是今天重点整理，我们回顾今天的单字吧。
Emotional. Russ impressed the crowd with his emotional speech. Jury. The members of the jury found it difficult to reach a quick decision. Combination. The chef is known for cooking dishes containing an odd combination of flavors. Femininity. In many cultures, long hair is seen as a sign of femininity. Stereotype. With her glasses and her wool sweater, Rose was the stereotype of a librarian. Flick. Hey, do you want to catch a flick with me this weekend?
Discussion Starter starts now!
And now it's time for our discussion starter. After reading the article, Helen, what is your opinion on acting? Is it a skill that you can learn, or do you have to be naturally good at it?
Well, I think acting is a skill that can be learned. Now, if it wasn't for the fact that I love doing this podcast with you, I would probably be taking acting lessons and trying to become a famous actor.
Well, I believe the exact opposite. The best actors are naturally skilled. As the article mentions, Lea Seydoux went to acting class for all the wrong reasons and just realized that she was a natural. And I remember growing up, there were kids in each one of my classes growing up. You could see that they had performance in their blood. They were born actors, performers, etc., etc. So I believe the best actors are naturally talented ones.
Well, this is the end of our program. We hope you had a great time with us today. Hope you can join us again. From all of us here, I'm Helen.
I'm Jeff. See you next time.